Have you ever found yourself apologizing when you haven't done anything wrong, or always putting other people's needs ahead of your own? Or maybe if someone around you is in a bad mood, you can't help but get into a bad mood too. These are all examples of what can happen when we don't have healthy boundaries in place. Boundaries at their core are about understanding where you stop and someone else begins. These are limits we put in place to protect our overall well-being and the well-being of those we are in relationships with. They're about taking back responsibility and control over our own behaviors and reactions. Practically, I like to think of boundaries as how we will interact with those we know. Since we can't control other people, boundaries aren't so much about telling someone else what they can't do, although letting them know if something is upsetting is helpful and encouraged. But instead, boundaries are about communicating what we will or will not do. For example, if you continue to yell at me in public places, I won't be able to go out with you anymore. I know it's hard, but again, it's more about what we will and will not do. Okay, with that in mind, let's jump into the 10 surprising signs that we may struggle with boundaries. Number 1, you find it really hard to make decisions. And this can happen for a couple of reasons. Either we've spent so much of our life pleasing others and putting them first that we really don't know what we like or don't like. Therefore, when we're given an opportunity to make a decision, our mind goes blank and we really don't know what we want to do. Another reason this could be is that we never know what is correct or right. We can struggle with the battle between doing what we think someone else wants and what we want. We can worry that we are going to let someone down or be selfish, and it can feel like there's no right choice. Number 2, saying no makes you think you're being selfish, and you immediately feel guilty for doing it. When we struggle with boundaries, we can tend to think in black and white and think that boundaries mean either all about me or all about you, when in reality, boundaries help keep us safely and healthily in the middle. Our fear of being selfish or our habit of putting others first can lead to us always saying yes, double or even triple booking ourselves and feeling like we don't get to do anything for ourselves ever. Sign number 3 is that you apologize a lot for things you didn't even participate in. This is one you all know I struggle with, and we can do this because we don't want to upset anyone else. We would honestly rather upset ourselves. And we can feel like we are always in the way or that it's not okay to take up space. And instead of working to understand why we need to be liked by everyone and never get in anyone's way, we just apologize all the time. Oh, and my therapist years ago told me that my people-pleasing behavior could be me manipulating others to assuage my own anxiety. That really hit home and rang true for me. And even though it was really painful to hear, I just wanted to pass that along in case it's helpful for you too. If these signs are ringing true for you, don't worry. I am offering a live 2-day workshop on January 6th and 13th from 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time that will empower you to set the boundaries you need to take back control of your life. We will discuss what boundaries are, the types of boundaries that exist in our life, and what behaviors you may have that are sabotaging your ability to have healthy ones. And you will also learn why you need boundaries and what to do if someone refuses to respect them. Click the link in the description to join. Back into the signs with number 4. It's that we don't know the right amount to share with others. We either overshare or don't feel okay to share anything. When we don't have healthy boundaries, we don't know where we stop and someone else begins, which can lead to us sharing too much too fast with people who are new to us. Or on the flip side, we can shut everyone out and not let them get to know us at all. Neither of these behaviors are healthy and are just indicators that we struggle with placing healthy boundaries, which are somewhere in the middle of those two extremes, meaning that we share little by little over time as we slowly build trust with someone. Moving on to number 5, we act out passive-aggressively. People who are passive-aggressive aren't able or struggle to communicate their upsets, frustrations, hurts, and expectations. Instead, we passively try to get people to read our minds. We can purposely run late to an event that we really don't want to go to, instead of just saying that we don't want to go. Or we could want to go out to dinner, and instead of saying so, because maybe we want it to be our partner's idea, we rummage through the fridge and we get upset that we don't have what we want or nothing we have sounds good. All in all, we're trying to show someone what we want through passive actions or inactions, instead of telling them directly what it is we want or are upset about. We can do this because we don't feel like we can tell someone what we want or believe, or that our wants aren't important. But deep down, we're human, so we still have them. Or we can be so adverse to conflict that we think speaking up is akin to starting a fight. Sign number 6 is that we can struggle to know who we really are. When we put others first and prioritize their wants and needs above our own, we can find ourselves becoming absorbed by them. Their bad days become our bad days. Their goals or desires become ours, and slowly we become absorbed by them. I see this a lot with parents or people in new romantic relationships. Parents can focus all of their energy on their children, but children grow up, start lives of their own, and it's at that point that they tell me they don't even know who they are anymore, because for so long they were mom or dad, and that defined them. Or in new romantic relationships, we can let go of our hobbies, our friends, and goals, and instead put our partners first. If that relationship ends or shifts in some way, we can be left trying to remember or figure out who we were without them. We can also call this enmeshment, which happens when boundaries in relationships are unclear or completely non-existent. Another sign we're struggling with boundaries is number 7, that we can't tolerate other people not liking us. Therefore, we end up doing whatever it is they want or what we think they want so that they keep spending time with us, love us, or make us feel accepted. This could also look like us needing a lot of outside affirmation or compliments. In some cases, this could mean that we need someone to tell us that we're doing something exactly right in order for us to keep doing it, which could play out at work or school and make it hard for us to complete assignments or do things independently. The root of this struggle can be an intense fear of abandonment or rejection, which makes us think we can't keep going or won't be able to function if someone leaves us. So we do whatever we can to keep them around. We can believe that we won't be able to take care of ourselves alone or won't survive the pain of the loss. Sign number 8 is that we feel resentful a lot of the time. Because we're doing what other people want and trying to please them and possibly overextending ourselves, we can become resentful. The tricky thing about this sign is that we may not realize that we are the reason for this happening, and our lack of boundaries is the key contributor to it. We can even find ourselves being upset with people who have healthy boundaries. Like, for example, if someone asks us or another friend if either of us can pick them up from the airport, and the other friend, quickly says, "No, I can't, I don't have the time." And we feel guilty and say that we can, even though we also aren't available. And we can be mad or resentful of that friend who so easily said no. We can also be resentful of people who take advantage of us because, frankly, we let them. Like the friend who asked us to get them from the airport. We can feel like they're taking advantage of our kindness or our inability to say no. If we find ourselves being upset at those around us and resenting certain things, consider what role we play in it. Did we say yes when we should have said no? Are they doing what we wish we could, and that's why we're upset? Or why weren't we honest about our availability? Consider those things. Moving on to number 9, we can feel tired all the time because we're doing so much for others. Since we don't put ourselves and our own well-being first, we can feel tired a lot. This could be emotionally or physically exhausted. And this one can be tricky if we're in a caretaking role because we can't just stop caring for them, but we're going to have to find other ways to take breaks. Do things that are just for us, and possibly share the burden of caring for others with someone else. Like, let's say, for example, if we're caring for children or an aging parent, we can call on someone else in our family to help. But overall, because we aren't prioritizing our own well-being, we're paying the price and can find ourselves worn out from it. Finally, number 10 is that our relationships tend to be difficult, explosive, or dramatic. When we don't have guidelines on where we end and others begin, or what's okay and not okay in our relationships, we can struggle to have healthy ones. Many could be predicated on us always giving or doing more, or always saying yes. And like we discussed, this can leave us feeling resentful, angry, and lashing out when we finally had enough. We can take out our lack of boundaries onto others instead of acknowledging the fact that we're the ones responsible for our lives. We have to set and uphold boundaries in order to have healthy and happy relationships, period. Now you might be wondering, why do I struggle with boundaries? Where does this come from? Well, there are 3 main reasons we can have this issue, although everyone is different, so if you think I left one out, please let me know in those comments. But reason number 1 is attachment issues. When we don't have a caregiver who was there for us consistently and showed us love and support, it can make it hard for us to know how to get those needs met healthfully. So we can give too much in the hopes that someone will finally show up and be there, or that someone will finally love us. We can fear that boundaries will push people away and we will be alone, which could be our greatest fear. Reason number 2 is past trauma or abuse. When someone harms us, they're overstepping natural boundaries. And when this happens, we can internalize a belief that we don't get to have boundaries, or we were wrong about what we thought they were. And we can think something's wrong with us, hello shame, and trust other people to tell us what's okay and not okay for us. Therefore, we don't even know how to place healthy boundaries or what they are or where they belong, which is why therapy is so important in healing when we're a trauma survivor. The 3rd reason is observation. We could have seen our mother or father act in unhealthy ways and accepted that what they were doing was correct. For example, we could have grown up in a home where boundaries weren't okay, and we were meant to share everything with the family. Or we watched our mother do all the work in her relationships, all the giving, always saying yes, and maybe even complaining to us about the fact that she did say yes and someone took her up on it. This can send confusing messages about boundaries, and we can mimic this behavior because we don't know any better. I hope you found this topic interesting and you learned something new. Again, if any of this resonated, please check out my boundaries workshop. Or if you thought I missed anything, feel free to share your own thoughts and experiences in those comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.